Ever since I got into uni, I knew I had to do one thing, if anything else. My mom was telling me this, my sister was telling me this, the upper years were telling me this, I was telling myself this, and I really learned this during my high school time as well. And this one thing was to just get involved with extracurriculars. Now, when I was in high school, I really regretted not joining a lot more clubs my time there because I spent a lot of my time just kind of sitting at home. Now, I did put a lot of that time into content creation, but I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't spending a lot of that time on content creation. I still had a lot more hours left where I could have, one, been studying, which I knew I wasn't gonna do, or put it more into content creation, which I chose not to, because I felt that it really could have deteriorated my drive and passion for this. Going into uni, I basically found every club. I went to all the big events that would tell me about these clubs and extracurriculars, and I signed up for a bunch of them, going for applications, doing some interviews, going to their general meetings. But doing all that really ate up a lot of my time. And that was something that I really didn't notice or hear from anyone else. Everyone else just told me to, get involved with it. Do this, do that, and all this. But no one ever told me that, you should only do a couple, which is my big advice to you. Now, it might not be the same case for you as it was for me, because I found myself saying yes a little too much, but it was because I was really open to trying things. I wanted to, do things and not make the same mistake I did in high school. So here we are doing a bunch of things every single day. But now I've tried to cut back a little bit on how much time I spend on these extracurriculars. Because the thing was that I had no time for anything else. I had no time for myself, no time for friends, no time for just things in general. And I really struggled to, try and find a balance and try and do a lot of things that I wanted to do. And I really had to weigh my options here. But that's the real thing about uni. You have to really manage your time well, or else you're not gonna survive. And the kind of analogy that I want you to think of your time as is this. So let's take, for example, your time is represented by this piece of wire. And let's say the baseline is basically around my shoulders, right? So that's when you spend 0 time. And when you have one activity, well, you got a whole lot of time to spend to this one thing. But with 2, that gets halved. With 3, even more. With 4, even more. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it goes on and on and on, right? And the ideal shape, in my opinion, that you want for your time to look like in this sort of analogy is almost like a T, right? You spend a lot of time in the core things and you put a large majority of that time into it. So your center looks a lot like this, but towards the side, the time that you spend towards the things that you're just kind of interested in really flattens out, and it becomes very, very minimal in terms of time commitments towards those things. And for me personally, this has worked really well. I get to commit myself to the things that I really, really value, but I still get the additional time to throw myself into the things that I just want to do for fun, or the things that I just feel like doing at times, whether it be just goofing around with friends or going to some random club that I really like to, or just going to some gaming club because I want to play some games, My laptop here ain't gonna be running anything real good for a long time, so I gotta take what opportunities I can get. And so the real rule of thumb for how many clubs that you should join or you really should commit to is around 3 to 4. You have 1 academic, 1 social/cultural, and 1 sports team. And depending on which type of club that you like the most, you can add an extra. If you really like academic ones, add another one. If you really like social ones or cultural ones, add another one. If you really like doing sports and you really like being active, add another one to your sports team count, whatever. So I think this gives you the best opportunity to be the most rounded that you possibly can. Because at the end of the day, all these extracurriculars are really the same in essence. There's social gatherings and social groups. They're here to teach you how to be just a good human in team situations, in these big gatherings, and how to hold your own in conversations, and just, how to socialize, network. And that's the really big thing about just everything. You have to know and you have to have these big soft skills. And being a part of these extracurriculars really teach you that, But that's not the main thing. You choose these clubs very carefully because of what they are and how this tiny differences that they do have. And that's where it comes in the experience and the technical skills that you build. With a lot of social clubs, it's going to be more emphasis on communication, the gathering part. But when it comes to academic and sports teams, these are a lot more different compared to typical social and cultural clubs. Because the academic ones give you the opportunity to build some really, really important technical skills for any career that you might want to go into. For engineering people, you might want to go in there to learn about, some projects or get involved with some of the projects. For anyone who's in business, it's really important to get into some of these academic ones because you need to build some public speaking skills and be able to speak in front of large crowds, And when it comes to sports teams, you get an incomparable team feel, and you really feel involved with everyone that's here. Because you're here training with everyone else. You suffer as a team, you win as a team, you compete as a team. And so each and every person goes through the same thing. And I think that is a really, really great bonding moment and can bring some of the best memories that you have. I can know for sure that during my time on the powerlifting team in high school, I made some really, really great memories, and it taught me some pretty important things as well. And I think just doing this will set you up very, very nicely if you want to get ahead in high school or in university, right? It's never too late to really get started, but of course, the quote, the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The second best time is now. So you might as well start now. And if you're really in the beginning, that is actually the best time. So join whatever you can, get involved, and just get in there, There's no point in fearing rejection, not feeling you fit in. Because at the end of the day, yes, these people you're going to see around more often because they are part of your school, but you have to get in there and at least try it out. Find your people, find a club that really embodies what you want. Because for me, like an example for myself is I'm probably going to join the Dragon Boat team at my university. Although this is like a pretty underground sport, the way they described it is really what I want from a sports team. Jack nerds. Like, I'm a ginormous Dragon Ball nerd. I could go off and on about, how Goku scales to a pebble or whatever it is. But I also like lifting. And so you just gotta find people that can really describe their community, their team, their movement in a way that corresponds with you. And the only way you can do with that is to show up. And yes, you're gonna have to spend a lot more time in the beginning, but cut down on that time consumption once this beginning portion ends. Go to whatever you can, go to whatever interests you in the beginning. But once it comes to a sustained amount of, activity, split it amongst the ones that you really, really want to focus on. And then from there, build your name, build a reputation for yourself, and really get involved. All right, but yeah, that's pretty much it for me here in this video. I do really apologize again for sounding like a chain smoker. I can't even remember if I said this in the beginning of my video or not, but if I didn't, I'll apologize once again for just sounding so sucky, but I still wanted to get content out for you guys. So I hope you did enjoy this video and found something helpful from it, but I do appreciate you for watching all the way to the end and sticking around with me, hearing me sound like a chain smoker for 10 minutes straight. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me here today. So just stay consistent, stay disciplined, and keep on building that relationship with God. I'm not going to give you a kiss because I'm sick, but yeah, I'm going to end it there. Bye-bye.